Hey guys, Mason and Brock Henderson here, and another late night review, so another uh, quieter review. This is Fargo, Season 2, Episode 4, and thank goodness, Monday nights, yes, Supergirl was bad, but thank goodness Fargo is also Monday night, because it, it redeems Monday nights for me. Because first of all, Mondays are Mondays. Nobody really likes Mondays. It's the day after Sunday. There's nothing really good about Mondays. Um, and, so it's Mondays. And then to, watch either Supergirl or Gotham at 8, which, because I'm taping Gotham already, I normally watch Supergirl. And so I watch that review if you want to know about that. But then to have Fargo on later, it really does redeem the day. It's like Monday night, Fargo night. So much happens, and I'm going to try to get through it as quickly as possible while still covering everything that happens. So to start off, start with the Gerhardt family. Uh, you see kind of how Dodd was raised uh, with his dad. Uh, they go into a movie theater, and his dad is meeting somebody, and this is when he's a little kid, and the dad is pretty much trying to make a business deal, and the guy that he's making the deal with is like, you shouldn't have brought your son, and one of the henchmen like points a gun at Dodd's, or I guess it's Otto, points a gun at Otto's head, and he's like, he needs to learn what men are like. And then the guy he's making a deal with starts to say something and then stops. And like you hear like a noise behind him, and Otto like takes the gun from the henchman and starts shooting up everybody else, and the guy is slowly falling forward, and then finally he falls forward, and you see a knife sticking out the back of his neck, and Dodd sitting right behind him. And all of a sudden, like, it makes sense. We know why Dodd is how he is, because this is how he was raised. This is how Otto raised him. And very well done scene. Good way to start. Next, you see Dodd with, I can't remember the middle brother's name, but it's his son. He has his right hand is messed up. I can't remember the name for it, but he can't use his right hand at all. And he's asking, Dodd's asking him about, what do you want to do when you grow up? And like, well, my dad wants me to be a lawyer, but I want to do what you do. He's like, it's gonna be hard to shoot a gun with only one hand. And takes it. He's like, I can do it. Let me show you. And so they take him out, or Dodd takes him out to the woods, and gives him a gun, and he's able to reload it and do it all with his left hand and then shoot. And from there, he's like, come on, you can help me out now. And so they go into this bakery shop, and two guys are in there. You're not really sure who they are. But Dodd takes a taser to one guy. The other guy tries to fight, and Dodd like grabs his arm and lets the middle brother's son, hit him in the face a couple times, and then just, I want a chocolate glaze. And it's one of the great things about this show. You just have him tase one guy, have the kid beat up the other guy, punch him in the face a couple times, and then just goes to the bakery owner. I want a chocolate glaze. What do you want? I'll just regular. Okay, he wants a regular. It's so quirky, but at the same time, you're like, what's going on? Who are these guys? Why is he tasing them? It's just very well done scene, in my opinion. But as far as what the Gerhardt family is going through, I really like this story. The Kansas City Mafia guys, Mike Milligan, he's in town still with the Kitchen Brothers, and you see him in, it's FX, so of course you're going to have a couple of scenes like that. But he had sex with Dodd's oldest that we saw in the last episode. And she clearly does not get along with her dad. We saw that at the end, where he like slams the door on her, and so she is kind of like feeding him information, and says, my mom or my grandmother, she wants to cut a deal, meet halfway, compromise. And he's like, everybody, will everybody go along with that? And he said, well, my uncle might, but my dad won't. You'll probably have to kill him. And he's just like, well, dang. And he's like, you'll be okay with that? She's like, yeah. It's like, well, I guess that's how she feels about her dad. Which, on one hand, I do understand. It's not like she hates him for some stupid reason. Like, he's clearly abusive to her. And she's very clearly messed up because of that. So, messed up little family. But she tells him where to find Otto because he's going in for some sort of treatment, I guess. And the next scene with Gerhardt's is they're sitting down and meeting with the Kansas City Mafia, and Dodd and the Middle Brother is there. And very, very good scene with their mother, Otto's wife, because she kind of gives him this little speech about, her sons and how she's had 6 sons. She had three miscarriages, 2 were stillborn, and the oldest one died in Vietnam. She's like, in other words, what I'm saying is, I may be old, but you can't just, my back is strong. You can't just bend me over and just take whatever you want. To which the guy responds, I never said I'm not glad to be doing business with you. I just much rather be doing business with Otto. And then she responds, if you were doing business with my husband, he would have shot you as soon as you offered him the deal. And he's like, okay, well, then I'm glad I'm doing business with you for that reason too. So she just isn't phased. She isn't phased by anything. The guns that they bring in, the manpower, the threats that they're making. She's not phased by any of it. And you see the 2 guys behind. It's Raymond's brother from Everybody Loves Raymond. He's the guy that's representing the Kansas City Mafia. So he's the one on the other side of the table. The 2 men behind him are the ones that Dodd tased in the bakery shop. And so that's his reasoning for, she offers him the deal, and he says, first of all, it's not my call. But even if it was, I don't think your sons would come into line behind you. And that he uses that as a reason why, which makes sense. So next you see Otto is getting out of the hospital. He has like his little, I guess, group with him that's guarding him. Don't know who they are. You've seen them around the Gerhardts before. And somebody parks like too close to the car that they came in. There's a truck beside it, and one of them has to get in, trying to crank it up. It's not starting, and there's a car coming, and like, oh crap, what's about to happen? And even one of the guys is like getting his gun ready, and then lady gets out, and you're like, okay, and then the guy finally gets the car started. You see a kitchen brother standing in front of the car with a shotgun, shoots the guy driving the car. The one guy that's still with Otto sends the girl, and she's like, take him, and she just runs off. And she's like, did he say take him? Like, why did you leave him? Another kitchen brother comes up, shoots that guy in the head with a shotgun. The girl that was with him was trying to run inside. Mike Milligan opens the door to the hospital, shoots her before she can get inside, and then goes over to Otto, takes his hat off, and says, somebody said hi. I can't remember the name that he said, but so-and-so says hi, and just lays his hat and then walks away. And you're just like, wow, like that. Just, first of all, the fact that they don't even have to kill him, it's a threat. It's like, we could have easily taken him out right now, but we're not. Because we want to work with you. We want you to accept our deal. Which, when Raymond's brother whatever his name is, whenever he gets news of it, he lessens the offer by $2 million. And it makes sense why they don't know about it yet. The Mrs. Gerhardt, she doesn't know about it yet, but he says, now the offer is $2 million less. I'll give you one day out of respect for your family to think about it. And then you have this very interesting moment where they're driving back in the car, and Dodd just kind of like lays his head on his mother's shoulder, and grabs her hand, and like wipes away his tears, and it's just like, crying. I'm not sure if they heard about Otto and that's why, or if he, if she's like scolded him because of what he did to mess up the deal, or, I don't know what it was, but it's a moment that shows that she very much is in control. Even though he seems like he doesn't respect her, you can still tell that he does care for her, and she still cares for him. So it's like a dichotomy. How they're, one minute when they're talking about business, he's pretty much saying she needs to go. She doesn't know what she's doing, and then when it becomes a family moment, they care for each other. It doesn't matter what's going on. They care about each other. So that's interesting. And the last, I think it's the very last scene, is it shows Mrs. Gerhardt lying in bed with Otto, like holding him close. And if you don't know what's going on with Otto, he's paralyzed, so he can't move anything. And she's just holding him, and then the middle son comes in and he's like, they're waiting, what do you want to do? She sits up out of bed, stands up, and is like, say it, please say it, please say it, please say it. I know it's a little cliche, but I want you to say it because it's a great line. Please say it. It's war. Yes. Just. I know that seems a little bit morbid. It's war. That's not normally a line that you'd be like, yeah. But you knew it was coming. This is set in the past, and they've talked about the Sioux Fall massacres in the first season, which is in the future, and so you knew that there was going to be a bloodbath. And one of the great things about the first season is how intense it was and how great the action was. And so you're just waiting for it to get to that point. You're like, when's it gonna happen? When's it gonna happen? And so when she says it's war, it's like, it's on. It's on now, boy. It's gonna get good. It's gonna get real good. Anyway, so that's how the Gerhardt family story ends for this episode. And like I said, just really well done. I love how you go here in Otto and figuring out what's wrong with him, and you're trying to help him, and then what happens with his bodyguards, and you're over here, and it's all business. It's very business-like. She's trying to show her strength and not show any weakness, and just it goes really well together. The other side of the story is Ed and Peggy, and there's actually a few other stories going on alongside, but it's all revolving around Ed and Peggy at the moment. The Indian, Dodd's, I don't even know if they're related or if he just, he's like his servant. I don't know the story there. I wonder, they may have already told it, or maybe they will tell us how that works. But anyway, the Indian is trying to figure out what happened to Rye, and so he goes to the crime scene. He's looking at the crime scene, picking up clues, sees some of the glass on the ground, so takes that with him. And as he's driving by an auto shop, he spots his car, and he goes up and matches it. It's Ed's car, which very interesting because because he is Native American, you expect that he is very good at picking up clues that some other people might miss because they're trackers. Well, not saying all Native Americans are trackers, but he very clearly is very good at tracking. Just based on what he's the way he's walking around the crime scene, the way he notices these little small details. he's very good at tracking. And so I I wish they would have gone a bit more into detail of why did he happen to pick out that car? What clues did he get? Because it's just like he's driving by the auto shop and stops and backs up and goes inside and matches up the headlight. Um, and so he's searching inside the car, and it's kind of funny because this one guy um, who works there, he's a kid pretty much. And he's just like, oh no, you can't do that. Like you can't go inside that car. See, I'm gonna have to ask you to back off, sir, because you're not allowed to touch the personal thing. It's just the how all these people are. They're not willing to say, hey, stop. They're like, I'm gonna have to ask you to stop. Um, and so he obviously doesn't stop. He looks inside the car, finds blood, finds the owner of the car, his name and his information, asks about him, and then Ron Swanson. He's going to be forever known as Ron Swanson in my mind, but it's mustacheless Ron Swanson. He was in one of I think the first episode. He was eating with, I want to say he was eating with Lou, or they were drinking together or something. I can't remember the scene now, but I remember seeing him, and I was like, he looks very familiar. Like, wait, and I looked it up. Like, Nick Offerman, yes. Why is he mustacheless? The mustache works. I missed the mustache. What happened to the mustache? So it's mustacheless Nick Offerman. So Ron Swanson, it works. But he's the owner of the auto shop, and he steps in, and the Indians asking more questions, and they're kind of like, get out, you need to leave, and he has his gun ready, so the Indian walks out. They then call in Lou and Hank, and Lou, being the genius that he is, sees sees the front end of the car smashed, and pieces it together. That wouldn't this be like if somebody hit a shooter that just shot up 3 people at a diner? And they're just like, oh no, this is Ed Blomquist. He hit a tree and the branch went through the went through the window. Then he goes around back, sees the back end, how he hit it with the back end of the car. Hit it from both sides. I'm just like, oh, and Peggy said that she had a misunderstanding with the garage, but I did find wood in there. And you're just like, he's a genius. Like, he's just piecing this all together, and he's got it figured out now. And so later, the Indian is inside the Blomquist's house, and he's like looking for stuff, sees the floor, smells it, smells the bleach, looks some more, goes to the fireplace, finds Ride's like belt buckle thing, and so like he's figured it out. Just as he's leaving, just as he starts to search more, he sees car lights, sees Lou coming, so he walks out. Lou knocks on the door, nobody's home, waits for Ed and Peggy to get home, and has a little sit down with them, and says, look, I need you to be straight with me. What happened? Tell me what happened. And it's like they don't want to admit it. They just keep talking about, oh, it was an accident. We hit a tree. We hit a patch of ice, hit the tree. And I love the story that he tells them to kind of tell them he knows. He tells them about being a vet. You see when somebody gets shot fatally, or when they get their leg blown off by a mine, says there's this look on their face that they don't know that they're dead, even though they are. We all can see it, but they can't. Ed and Peggy, both of you have that look right now. You don't realize that it's over. And now this guy you hit, name's Wright Gerhardt. You're telling him about the family, how they're probably coming right now. And Ed looks like he's about to talk. But Peggy steps in. And if you're not paying attention, like the reason why can just fly right past you. But I thought about it, and it really does make sense because everything. I'll backtrack a second. Um, Everything that's been going on within this episode has been Ed wants to buy the butcher shop, and it's funny because they're just talking like normal when you first see them. You know, they're just talking like normal about what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen the next day. Well, we need to talk about our future. And it's like they completely forgot that they killed a guy. It's just like they grinded up the body. It's done. It's done. We don't have to worry about it anymore. And so they're talking. Ed's telling Peggy that she can't go to this seminar that will help her be a better self or whatever because he needs the money to buy the shop. She's like, not really saying anything. He goes to pay for the shop and the check bounces because she paid for the seminar already and decided she's going to go. So they have a little argument. Peggy goes to get the money back, and that lady that owns the shop she is not. I want to make the clarification because I know that if anybody even watches these videos, but I know that there's a lot of talk going on about feminists and all the man hate. She's one of those man hating feminists, not one of the ones that are fighting for equal rights. She's like, oh, so that's what Ed said. You are going to go to this seminar and you're going to become a better yourself. And I'm just like, okay, equality, that's great. But she's got to buy the shop so they can make money. It's like, yeah, pay for the seminar, don't get the shop, and then you're financially ruined for the rest of your life. Or you can let him buy the shop so you'll have some money. Duh. But of course, Peggy is like, it's funny because she doesn't want to fight with Ed, and that's why this woman's like, stand up for yourself. But Peggy's not willing to stand up to this lady either. So it's like, this lady, it's very ironic that this lady wants her to stand up to Ed, but Peggy's not willing to stand up to this lady and say, look, this is the best for our family. If we want to have a family, this is the best for our family. It's not about me, it's about us. But anyway, the lady convinces her to go to the seminar to not get the money back. And so, going back to what's happening currently, Lou tells them all this. Ed looks like he's about to talk. And Peggy, it's like she has that moment inside her where she's like, this is about me. And so she's like, cuts in. She's like, look, you're way out of line. I'm going to have to ask him to leave. And I think that's very well written because, it's been going on this whole episode where at the beginning she didn't want to say anything. She was still inside of herself. And then after this talk with this woman, she feels a bit more confident. Maybe she can take care of herself without Ed. And so when Ed's about to finally give it all up, she steps in because it's about her now. And she's the one that hit him and decided, pretty much started this whole mess. And so it's about her. It doesn't matter the fact that Ed, the fact that she's not saying anything. Ed could be in serious danger, but it doesn't matter because it's about her and she doesn't want to go to jail. So it is very well done how it led up to this moment. And obviously it's a very stupid decision because they'll need the help of the police with the Gerhardt family coming after them. But Lou leaves. He pretty much said there's a window of opportunity where I'm going to help you. But that window's closing. And she pretty much slammed it shut. So I love where that story is going because it's, now that Lou's finally figured it out, I was really worried they were going to do it where Lou was going to be trying to solve the case throughout the whole season, until halfway through he finally realizes, oh, they did it. But they did it where now he's figured it out and he's confronted them already, and now it's, will the cops get there first, or will the Gerhardt family get there first, and what's gonna happen next? So it's all setting up for like this epic Gerhardts versus the Mafia versus the Cops versus the Blomquists. Um, and obviously the Blomquists are they're gonna die if all of them meet. um, so, and I mean, as far as reviewing the episode itself, once again, the music is great. Uh, they have this orchestra sounding thing when everything's going on with Otto at the hospital that just really, it's an emotional sounding thing that gets you sucked in. Uh, the acting is really great. Uh, I said before that my reservations about Kirsten Dunst have kind of gone out the window from these first few episodes, but in this one, she really takes a hold of that role. Um, and she's gotten a lot better from the beginning of the season, where she was just like this woman who doesn't really know what to do. Hits a guy, takes him home, acts like nothing's wrong, and now it's like she's really convinced herself that this is gonna turn out okay. That you know, she doesn't have to do anything else. She has to get through this, and Ed's gonna be there to help her. So, you know, one more thing. Lou's wife, Betsy, the whole cancer thing. I don't know how much of this is going to play into the overall story, or if this is just, what happened to Molly's mom. Because obviously it is very important to Lou because he might lose his wife. But as far as like the main plot, where it's the Gerhardt family versus the mafia and all of that stuff going on, I don't know how much Betsy's going to play into it. But I I understand the whole uh, blind trial. The one group takes the placebo, one group takes the actual drug. But when it's cancer, I wonder why they even do a placebo, because when they're doing a placebo for like sickness drugs, and maybe this is just me not understanding medicine very well, but I understand it was like sicknesses because if you take a pill, it's a placebo and it makes you feel better. Well, obviously the sickness was not that bad. But when it's cancer and it's confirmed cancer, and you give them a placebo, well, like if you just give a bunch of people that drug and the results are mixed, you got like 50% chance of success. Well, obviously the drug's not strong enough. But if everybody, gets healed from it, well then obviously that drug works well. Um, but I don't know. It just seemed weird that they would do a trial for a cancer pill, a cancer drug that you put a placebo in. It's like, well, obviously, maybe the cancer will go into remission, but obviously the placebo is not going to work. I don't know. Maybe I don't understand medicine as well as I think I do, but that's just my opinion on that. But going back to the overall review, like I said, music was great, acting's always great. The story itself is progressing very well. They're not flying into everything. It's episode 4, and just now the action is really starting. So I like how they don't fly into it. They build it up, and now you can tell that things are about to get real. Things are really going to start happening now. So I think that's it for this review. I guess got the review tomorrow. So I will see you guys then. Peace out.